Hi everyone, this is Dr. Brie. So guess what? I finally had my business partner on the line here with me, and we're going to film together and start talking about things that we think are important that you need to know, and that's coming from the universe and what we're talking about today. So today I want you to meet Theresa Hebert. Hi, Theresa.
Hi, Brie.
This is my business partner and friend. So now I finally got her out of the background. She's not in the background no more. She's on film. This has been taking a long time too, and we finally got it. So I want to talk about today how I fell out of a love state this weekend by a simple action. And it took me till this morning to put me back in that love state and coming from my heart. I'm gonna sit back a little bit. So I'm coming from my heart chakra right here, right? And what happened is I have my mom's dog, and he's like a little tiny Yorkie Shih Tzu mixed terrier little puppy. And he's about 9 years old or more. I know he's over 9 years old. Here's the thing. He went in the backyard, and my husband has a slam truck project that he has where the trucks are really low to the ground. And what happened is we heard this yippee. And I thought that little Moxel, because my mom was German, so it had to be Moxel, and went out and saw him, and he got stuck in the wheel well of the back tire. And I'm yelling for my husband. He's coming around from the front yard through the house, and I get my hands way in there. I have marks, bruises from way up here today still. To get his paw out from underneath where it was stuck in one part of the wheel well, and the other one that was stuck in between two bars. You believe that, Theresa?
Oh, yes. He's a little tiny thing.
Yeah.
I can see where he'd get his head stuck.
You're right. And he got his head stuck, and it was up to his shoulders. And so his head was like way like this, and he was stuck. So my husband goes and gets his floor jack to lift him up. And all of a sudden I yelled, stop. His foot's stuck in one area, and I had to shove my hand way in there and pull his leg out and against his body. He stopped whining, yiping the whole bit. You know, Mama was there to help him, right? So what I did was I got really upset, and I got mad at my husband because I've been telling him I'm worried about that truck and the dogs. And I fell out of love state. We got the puppy out. I grabbed the puppy, held him next to my heart chakra, and gave him as much love as I could. He was just shaking. And I got him in the house, and I lost my temper on my husband. That's what I did, Theresa.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how fast fear can go to anger, especially when you're scared, really scared like that. And it's very prevalent when it's something you really love or hold dear.
Yes. And so now what happened is, you know, the infinity symbol. So I was in the middle, staying there. I had to go all the way back around, come back to the left, come back all the way to the right to get back in the middle. And I didn't get out of it till this morning when I woke up. It takes that long to bring yourself back in that love state. It's something we can just go back and say, okay, I'm done. You have to go all the way back around. And even though people think, oh, we're just going to center ourselves, that's centering yourself. That's not bringing your love state back in. And so what I did was, first I apologized to my husband for getting so mad. He goes, well, I should have listened to you. And I talked to him this morning while I was gone for a little bit in my car. I said, I'm really sorry I got that mad. He goes, no, you were scared. Well, we either have love or fear. And if it's scared, it's fear. It's anger. It's frustration. All goes on the negative side. Love is here. Fear, anger, frustration is all right here. Anything that is not of love is on this side. I'm just using this for example. My right hand is not of love. My left hand is love, let's just say. That's all we have. And so when I got so upset about that puppy, I was tired yesterday. I talked with you, and I couldn't even bring myself to do anything yesterday because I was so out of balance of who I am and what I stand for. What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree. And sometimes we think we're out of balance, and maybe balance means something different for each one of us. But for me, it meant, wow, I'm out of that love state. And it's, you have to really work to slow yourself down when you get in a scary situation, whatever it is, and say, oh, I got to make time to put that in my heart space, because my heart will tell me a better intelligence than what my mindset's going to tell me. And boy, that's something we all need to really work on, because we've been indoctrinated a lot to just immediately react to everything. And typically when we're scared, our immediate reaction is to come out swinging. And so this is a real teaching moment anytime you get something like this, to stop and reflect on it and say, what could I have done different? And the fact that you went back to talk to your husband and say, I'm really sorry this happened. So you're both getting a teaching moment out of this, to say, wow, that was fear. So we're training each other to say, even though I was mad, that was really a big fear state for me. And I came out swinging, and I'm sorry, and I'm learning from it.
Right. And luckily, it's not swinging like I used to swing.
Right.
I'm serious. 0 to 60 seconds, less than 60 seconds. This was like a fear I've never felt before for an animal. My little dogs that I had transitioned over, which but it was time for them to go. They wanted to leave. They couldn't handle the planet no more. So they were getting sick and all sorts of stuff, and it was time. But Mossel is hanging in there. He's like, I'm not going nowhere, and I'm outlived these guys now, the new dogs. He's not going to go nowhere. And that's what he tells me, right? I'm a big dog. Be an animal communicator, just so I say. He thinks he's a big dog. And picks on the St. Bernard Newfoundland mixed pup dog I have that's a pony, right? And then Cody, the old lady's bulldog, he's like, well, they're not going to boss him around. And so when I went from that fear to flight mode, it's exactly what it was. I went out of love state, being out of love with myself, with anybody. And so working around that affinity symbol and coming back and forth, it's like, how do we all stay in that space? What would you recommend, even in this type of situation?
Slow down, first of all.
Yeah.
And really slow down, even if you have to just stop. And then you say, okay, what happened here? And I think when you do those things, you start to learn a great deal about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be a lot of surprises in there about your reactions and why do you react that way. I find for myself sometimes it's just because I can't control the situation, and I like to control all my situations,
Right.
because that's where my comfort zone was. But I'm learning, if you want to be in that love state, you've got to free flow some things, and you've got to really let go. And I was wondering, as you're talking about, that infinity symbol, can you explain just a little bit more about that? I think that's probably fairly new for people to go, if I take a big breath and I say, oh, I'm okay now, why is that not quite enough?
Because I'll explain that. That's really a good question. So imagine the infinity symbol sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you can't just come back into it, you have to work your way back all the way around, because you have to heal everything you've done in 1 second at a time. So we're out there for 3 minutes, basically getting this dog out. With no 5 minutes, but because we were fast, right? But it threw me on my butt, literally. And I couldn't move. And all I kept was watching him yesterday. So when we go out of that love state, we have to work our way back. We just can't go, oops, we're done.
Yes, you really have to reflect on it and find out what happened. Otherwise, you're going to repeat a pattern that you don't want to repeat or keep reinforcing. And so it does take time. And depending on what the nature is and how tired that makes you, it does take it. And if you haven't done this kind of work too much before, there's a lot of thoughts that go through your head, and things that pop up about yourself as to what those triggers could have been. And so it's really it's an interesting process and a really rewarding one. When you start to do it a few times, you find that it's a little bit easier to stay in that love state. And when you stay in that love state, so many good things start to happen. You start to really see things so differently.
And that's very true, because I'll tell you what, I had to do 5 breath meditation for sickness cell healing, breath of life from Esther Commando and Galactic Council, ancient Lemurian shamanic healing. Now, I was doing like a whole bunch of modalities, shamanic healing from my indigenous side, right? And I was going, oh, and I had to bring that aspect forward to help me, and that was a long time ago, right? This is like, and Geronimo's one of my guides, so I had to bring him in. So my whole bedroom and house was full of people. And my angels and guides and Goddess Era, that will bring him through here soon. But it was a lesson to learn to hold my space. So no matter how, instead of getting angry and a fear, I should have just called to my angels immediately. So that's my first mistake. I hadn't called nobody. I was so concentrated on getting the dog out there that I didn't think about calling upon the angels that, like Yvonne, that works with the animals, right? Angel. I didn't call upon any of my guides and guardians. It was just like, Kelly, get back here now. Let's get this done. Now, had I called upon them and asked for their assistance, it would have been a whole nother story. So this was a great lesson for me to learn. And the thing about it is, I'm not ashamed that this happened. I'm ashamed of what I did. That I forgot to call upon my angels and guides after all the years of teaching. Because I was so concentrated on that puppy. It was a lesson for me to learn. To stay connected to my angels and guides. And bring in the animal kingdom and everything, from the angelic realm, animal kingdom, galactic, everybody in to help me with this dog. And the dog was more calmer than I was. And it's like, so that was the greatest lesson that I got this weekend when it happened. And it scared me, but it also scares, if you're scared, that's fear too.
You know what I find is helpful too when you get in those situations, and I've started to do this a lot more since I've met you. I talk to myself constantly. I used to just talk in my head. Now I talk out loud, and I hope there's not too many people around, because I'm having a conversation all the time and I'm talking to so many different people. But it's helpful, because even if I go to lift something that's too heavy for me, I'm it anyway. But I was asking for help. I go, okay, I need a little help here, angels. I need to get this over here. It works. It really does work. And so that's the way that I'm learning how to calm myself down, so I don't have those immediate knee-jerk kind of reactions to things, especially when I'm driving or, things that trigger that. It's getting much easier, but it is about staying in your power and being calm enough not to give it away, and to remember that, we're all divine beings here doing the best we can.
Right. No, I agree with that. It's just that I never thought a simple thing like that would throw me out of balance.
Yeah. Well, don't you find even the teachers are taught all the time, and you flip back and forth in the course of a day? Sometimes I'm a teacher, sometimes I'm the student, and that happens a lot. And I think that's a really healthy thing.
It is. It's healthy. I agree with that. The other thing is, it taught me a lesson about myself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was not even my mind. It was straight out the door to the dog, because I could hear, help.
Yeah. Love will do that to you.
Yeah, it will. And so I helped him get out, and Kelly got the car jack, right? But it was like, and then he wanted to do it from the one side. I said, no, if you do it from that side, the left side of me, right, on my left side here, that you're going to cut his head off. You're going to go in the back. So, I mean, because my arm was like, had to get his hand, his 1 foot out between things, right? And when it was so funny because when I got him out of there, Kelly and I got him out of there, he jumped straight to his chest and I grabbed him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, feel mama's love, feel mama's love, feel mama's love. And I know that he felt it from the higher self, mm-hmm. but me emotionally, no. And so with the shifting we're doing right now in our consciousness, also that made me really think. I shifted in my consciousness also, mm-hmm. and I had to shift it back again. And it's well worth going around the figure 8 and coming back around to be able to put yourself back in that love state.
That's true, because every time you do that and you get yourself back in the love state, you have this enormous ripple effect out in the universe, and it's just where you want to be.
Right.
Worth the practice.
Right. And so the thing about it is with all the different things that you and I will be talking about on the channel here for YouTube, and what we're out teaching people is really important that they know that we make mistakes just like anybody else. That's the big thing with me. I want people to know that we make mistakes and we have to fix our mistakes. So I really believe that some of these things that happen in our lives that we have to fix, we should be sharing with our listeners, because they need to know that, hey, we're not all perfect. We make mistakes. We have to learn the same lessons that everybody else has to learn. Mm-hmm. And it's not an easy thing, but it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. We're all very connected community, and we learn the best from each other.
Right.
And none of us is any more special than the other. We're all here learning from each other, and it's the more we can help each other, the better it is.
Right. So thank you for being on with me today. And love is the answer to every solution is exactly what it means. Theresa came up with that name, and it was like, yes. And my guide, God's Earrow, is like, yes. And my angels were like, yes. And this is what we're going to talk about, things about love and how we can change a situation back into love. And this is one example. Because believe me, I called Theresa and I told her what happened. And she calmed me down. And I was able to get myself back in, but it took a couple till this morning to get myself back in balance, if you want to use that word, or back in the love. So remember, love here, fear here. This is anger, frustration, hate. Everything you do not like is here. Mm-hmm. If you don't resonate with something, it can be here too in fear. So here's my thing that I want to tell everybody. Even if you feel you do not resonate with the person, what they're saying, or you don't like what I'm saying or Teresa's saying today, leave with love. No, nothing else, but leave it with love. If you don't, let's say you have a friend, a really good friend, that you disagree with on a situation. You don't have to tell her, honor, respect her, or honor, respect him. But make sure that you leave in love and stay in love. So thank you, Theresa, for being on with me today. And
you're welcome.
We're gonna hear a whole lot more from her because she's really got a lot to say. And I just am very thankful that you can, guys, we just reached one person, 2 people. I'm happy with this video. And it'll be up on YouTube and the Kahu Brand page. So God's blessings, and we'll talk with you guys in a couple days. Bye.